CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday, March 5th. Kashechewan First Nation is calling for the resignation of Indigenous Affairs Minister Mandy Galmasti. The First Nation put out a statement today saying the minister has not visited Kashechewan or the evacuation sites for the last 2 months, even after 6 deaths. The community was forced out after the water treatment system failed. Assessment and repairs have been ongoing for 60 days, leaving residents scattered across the province. In the release, the First Nation says the work to resolve the water crisis continues to face delays. Chief Hosea Wesley says families are struggling, elders are displaced, and our community is grieving. Yet the minister responsible for Indigenous services has not come to see the situation for herself, adding, "We are not a file to be managed, and if the minister cannot demonstrate the leadership needed at this moment, then she should step aside." The news release did not confirm how the 6 community members died. It states the 6 deaths are both directly and indirectly related to the situation. And CTV reached out to the Ministry of Indigenous Affairs but did not hear back. All right, let's talk about the weather. Some sun and cloud today. What can we expect as we get closer to the weekend? For more details, we go to CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Tony, how about if I just say unpleasant weather? We're going to get the risk of freezing drizzle right across the Northeast tomorrow. And again, we've got some wet weather coming in tomorrow evening, some showers on Saturday, so it's not going to be the nicest couple of days. Our systems map brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. Here we go with that system hovering in by about 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. So again, rain, freezing drizzle. It's just a culmination of, well, a messy weekend coming up, beginning tomorrow, continuing into Saturday. We'll take a look at the 5-day numbers and a lot more, Tony, coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks for that, Rick. A new pitch could change how mining wealth is reinvested in the north. Mayor Paul Lefebvre is calling on the province to grant Sudbury special economic zone status, intended to direct more mining revenue back into local infrastructure and housing. Details from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
Mayor Paul Lefebvre says Sudbury generates 1/3 of Northern Ontario's total GDP. However, he says the city is missing out on an opportunity.
We're really contributing to the economy of Canada, just not on regular businesses, but on a very special one, which is critical minerals. And the importance of that industry now more than ever.
In an op-ed released this week, Lefebvre calls on the provincial government to grant Sudbury special economic zone status, while requesting some financial support from the federal government. The formal policy would allow a portion of the wealth generated by mining to stay in Sudbury to fund housing, roads, and workforce development.
It's an unfamiliar term to Canadians and even the specialized set of economists or business development officers. You know, they think of developing countries, right, which have special economic zones where you can import and export for free.
To look at the same bill with the lens of being a municipality that would like to gain the power from the special economic zone would actually make a lot of sense for Sudbury.
The framework came into effect in January as part of the Ford government's controversial Bill 5. While the law aims to slash red tape, critics warn it could mean bypassing environmental protections and Indigenous rights.
If we're going to hand that kind of sovereignty over to the government for them to decide how they think the best way to move forward for these special projects, I think that would be a mistake and move backwards.
Lefebvre says the designation would strengthen partnerships and provide financial support to protect the local environment. A formal motion for the delegation will be presented at an upcoming council meeting, and if passed, the province holds the legal key to create the zone. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
As the conflict in Iran continues into day 6, gas prices have surged since the war began. CTV's Madison Merrier explains.
Canadians are seeing higher costs at gas stations, which many Sudburyans said is a big hit for Northern Ontario's city layouts.
It'll definitely make it more difficult to get around. I live in Coppercliff, so it's a lot of driving every day for me for work, so I'm filling up probably once a week. Sometimes more, yeah, it adds up quick. You know, you're talking about $150 per fill up or whatever, and that's twice a week that you're paying more for the gas than you are for the truck.
Fortunately, I don't drive much since I retired, but for those that have to drive for work or to go anywhere, yeah, it's going to hurt them. And it's probably going to stop them from going places.
I think the price of gas is too high, and it just fluctuates a lot, way too much, from going from, say, $1.12 one day to $1.32 the next day. It just should not happen that way. It should stay a lot more stable than what it is.
The government removed the consumer carbon price last spring, but right now they're comparable to last year.
It goes to show you, this time last year we sort of got used to it, the drip drip of higher prices. But this is happening a lot faster than everyone thinks. And the longer this goes, the longer it's going to take to climb out of it, and the higher it's going to go, likely. The impact, though, is critical on the diesel side.
McTeague says gas has gone up at least 17 cents a liter since last Friday, and a net 8-cent increase is predicted at the pumps by this Saturday. Diesel prices skyrocketed, jumping 38 cents from last week, and it's expected to rise another 15 cents before the end of the week.
Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury are all cheaper than Toronto today. We're paying $1.46. I see some stations in Timmins, of all places, where the transportation costs usually 5 cents a liter more.
McTeague says the cost of fuel is expected to rise, so he recommends shopping around on gas comparison sites and apps before filling up. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. First, though, we're off to Algonquin Park Visitor Center. This live webcam is courtesy of the Friends of Algonquin Park. It's -1 near Whitney. We are back in a few minutes.
Pure Country 91.7 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Sorry about the disappointing news that you're about to hear in regards to the next couple of days with the weather, but it's going to be wet. That's where I will start. Let's check out our forecast radar. We've got a system coming in from the Midwest of the U.S. And again, by about, tomorrow evening and continuing into Saturday, we're going to get some rain, some freezing drizzle. It's going to be messy. Okay, let's check out some of the numbers. I can't phrase that any easier. Sudbury Nickel Belt, chance of freezing drizzle tomorrow +1. Showers on Saturday at 4. Chance of sleet Sunday and Monday at 30%. So there is some positive news here. It may not be 30%. 5 and 7 your highs, and 2 with the chance of showers on Tuesday. We have seen better days. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, periods of freezing drizzle tomorrow at 2. Showers on Saturday at 3. Chance of sleet on Sunday, Monday, 6 and 8 your daytime highs. Chance of showers on Tuesday at 3. Now, the temperatures are nice. It's just the conditions. And of course, it's all as a result of a warm front moving across the northeast. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, freezing drizzle tomorrow at 60%. +1 is your daytime high. Saturday, flurries or showers. It's 50-50 right now. -1 your high. Sunday, chance of flurries. Monday, chance of flurries. 4 and 2 your highs. And the chance of snow come Tuesday at -4 as things start to cool down after Monday. So again, some warmer weather. Then it starts to get cooler by the beginning of next week, heading into Tuesday. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, chance of freezing drizzle for tomorrow at +1. Showers on Saturday at 3, which is pretty well the story. So freezing drizzle for tomorrow, showers on Saturday. Then it's a toss-up between chance of sleet or flurries. 5 on Sunday with the chance of flurries. 4 on Monday with the chance of sleet and chance of snow Tuesday with a high of -1. Wrapping things up with a look at North Bay and West Nipissing now. Freezing drizzle for tomorrow. We've got a high of 2. Then it warms up to 7 on Saturday. Some shower activity. Chance of sleet Sunday, 30% at 5. 7 degrees Monday, chance of sleet. Then it starts to cool down. Chance of showers on Tuesday at 40%. So talk about a mixed bag, Tony. Wet start to the weekend, beginning tomorrow, continuing into Saturday. Then it's like a 50-50 chance heading into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Back to you on the desk.
Thanks for that, Rick. During the 2026 Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention Natural Resources Canada committed to investing up to $40 million in the creation of the Canadian Digital Core Library. It's a national platform that will facilitate access to digitized drill core data from across the country. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Prospectors and exploration crews have been sampling across Canada for hundreds of years. Soon they will be made available to all through the creation of the Canadian Digital Core Library.
We have this huge amount of drill core samples all across the country, just sitting there. And we don't know what we don't know. So what the government of Canada is doing is we're going to take those drill core samples and using AI technology, that there are new tools now where you can scan the drill core samples and it tells you all the minerals that are contained in there. So we're going to be able to do that and take all that information and have it on a digital platform.
Tim Hodgins, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, announced the signing of a non-binding declaration of intent during PDAC between the Government of Canada, Creative Destruction Lab, Laurentian University, and multiple major mining companies, including Agnico Eagle and Vale.
I have been advocating and pushing for this all along. And so when we announced the library at PDAC earlier this week and solidified Laurentian University's role, I was so proud of the university and proud of Sudbury and everything this means for us.
This is an excellent opportunity for students. They're going to have access to data from core across Canada. There's a lot of advantages for our students there. Like they could be working on projects with partners. They could be doing co-ops and internships with some of the 6 companies that are involved in this project and potentially more. And, it helps them be better prepared for the workforce. It's really going to enhance their learning.
Lapointe says now that key partners have been identified, the government will work with provincial and territorial jurisdiction to negotiate where the samples will be stored and who provides oversight over them. She adds that there are approximately enough samples from across the country that, if lined up, would go from Halifax to Vancouver. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
A warning tonight about toxic drugs. Northeastern Public Health has issued an alert. It says it's seen an increase in suspected opioid poisonings across its catchment area. Officials are warning people, even if you don't use often, poisonings can be fatal. They're urging people to have a plan in place, avoid mixing substances, and to carry naloxone Narcan kits. West Division matchup coming up on CTV News at 5. The Sioux Greyhounds took on the Flint Firebirds last night in OHL action, and goalie Carter George stood out for the Hounds. Public Health Sudbury District says it's seen increased reports of gastrointestinal illnesses in long-term care homes and children's centers. Public Health says the increase is likely linked to norovirus, which is highly contagious and can have serious impacts on children and older adults. Hand washing with soap and water is the most effective way to prevent the spread of the disease. If you're sick, Public Health says to stay home for at least 48 hours. A North Bay area farmer is the newest president of the Beef Farmers of Ontario. Jason LeBlanc, a cattle farmer of 20 years, will lead the organization in the year ahead. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
It's feeding time at Jay's Acres. Farmer Jason LeBlanc is tending to his herd of cattle.
My love is farming. It's incredible.
LeBlanc and his family have been running a 35-head commercial grass-fed cow-calf farm since 2006. And one day he hopes to expand his herd to between 50 and 75. LeBlanc will be bringing his experience to the Beef Farmers of Ontario, as he's the group's newest president.
It's an honor, of course, that the producers and the board members saw fit to give me that job for this coming year.
He will represent the province's 19,000 beef farmers, as the association focuses on growth and profitability in all sectors. Ontario is considered a net beef importer since there's not enough livestock to sustain the feedlot sector.
We're always looking to improve the numbers and increase those numbers of cattle producers.
Moving forward as president, LeBlanc's first order of business is to seek approval for a provincial guarantee under the association's beef breeder loan program.
Any producer, but especially young producers who don't have the capital, can get loans to bring in and get breeding livestock.
Looking to the months ahead, LeBlanc and other farmers will be watching the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement review with bated breath.
Beef is an industry where animals cross the border back and forth all the time. And we do work closely with our American counterparts and hope to keep that same process going.
LeBlanc says the demand for high-quality beef has never been higher, as farmers explore ways to make the product better each year. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Chisholm.
The mild weather has been great for melting snow, but it's putting a damper on some winter activities. This was the scene at the Ramsey Lake skating path in Sudbury last night. It and the Queen's Athletic Skating Oval are both closed until further notice. The city says it's monitoring the rinks and will provide updates if conditions improve. It was a big game over in the OHL last night as the Sioux Greyhounds faced off against the Firebirds down in Flint.
Chance for it. It's a shot from Mignosa. He scores.
Hound star Marco Mignosa, the first to find the back of the net in the second period. This game would really come down to goaltending, though, with Carter George in net stopping 43 shots on goal. Flint would outshoot the Sioux 43-21. Despite the Firebirds' efforts, this one goes to a shootout where the Hounds pick up the win 4-3. And tonight, the North Bay Battalion are in action. They'll face off against the last-place Oshawa Generals at Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens. Puck drop is 7 o'clock. Over in the NOJHL, the Greater Sudbury Cubs will play host to the Sioux Thunderbirds. That game gets started at 7:10 at Countryside Arena. It's called a budget-friendly phone. When we return, Apple is launching iPhone 17e. We get more in our Tech Talk segment. You're watching First at 5. Are you looking for a new iPhone? Well, Apple is launching a new one, and March is Fraud Prevention Month. To delve deeper into those topics, let's bring in cybersecurity and tech analyst Ritesh Kotak. He now joins us from Toronto. Hi there, Ritesh.
Hello.
On March 11th, Apple is launching the iPhone 17e, a more affordable phone. Why, and do you think it's worth it?
So in the last quarter, the iPhone sales actually beat expectations, but there is a big issue within the consumer phone market or smartphone market, and that is increased competition, especially increased international competition from foreign markets. And as a result, I think that there is this big push right now to get more devices into the hands of consumers. One of the biggest criticisms for Apple devices is that they cost too much, and people hold on to these devices for as long as they possibly can. Apple has made a huge push for Apple Intelligence, new features as well that they want to get into the hands of consumers because the race is on. So by creating a cheaper model that has not all the bells and whistles, but enough features to potentially get people onto the Apple Intelligence bandwagon, this is hopefully going to entice them to go out and make a purchase. So overall, I think it's a step in the right direction. And if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, it's probably worth the money you're going to pay for it.
Okay, OpenAI strikes a deal with the Pentagon hours after the Trump administration bans Anthropic. Tell us more.
So Anthropic is essentially AI, a large language model that's used behind the scenes. Think of ChatGPT. It's another version of it. And what the Department of War in the United States asked them to do was essentially incorporate that into particular applications, such as mass surveillance and the use for their technology in autonomous weaponry. Anthropic said, no, we got to have some safeguards, some guardrails around it. And for whatever reason, some conversations happened behind the scenes, and the Department of War deemed it a supply chain risk. What does that mean? So if any organization or vendor was using Anthropic's artificial intelligence, they can no longer do business with the Department of War.
And finally, March is Fraud Prevention Month. What is the latest type of fraud and how can we protect ourselves?
So what we're seeing an increase in is police impersonation scams. In fact, the Ontario Provincial Police recently put out information where they're warning the members of the public that individuals are calling impersonating police, saying that if you don't pay a certain amount, you're going to get arrested. We're seeing crypto-related scams as well. So these are the type of scams that we're seeing. So it's very important. If someone calls you and claims to be an individual of authority, what you got to do is get their name, get their badge number, their contact information, hang up, call the station, the division, the police service, the department, the agency, whatever, and verify that this is actually legitimate. Police and law enforcement will never ask you to pay on threat of arrest, and they definitely will not be dealing with crypto. And if we keep these principles in mind, we can prevent individuals from being scammed as these scams continue to evolve and leverage more technology.
Good points there, Ritesh. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ritesh Kotak was our guest, and don't forget to see more of our Tech Talk segments. Head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Our first community close-up is from Sault Ste. Marie. Mayor Matthew Shoemaker presented a $500 check to St. Mary's College. The money will support the school's Operation Smile campaign. The students raise awareness about the life-threatening effects of severe cleft palate conditions worldwide. Rose Russo of the Sioux was in Sudbury and snapped these photographs while at the Grotto, Lady of Lourdes. She says it's one of the city's hidden gems. Rose added it was great to see the sun setting and the moon rising. Thanks so much, Rose. To Kanogami near Kirkland Lake, Andy Atwater sent us these pictures. He says a Jack Frost pattern on his truck window a while back. If you use your imagination, he says you can see several different figures of animals, driftwood, you name it. Thanks so much, Andy. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.